This is Maurice the Mouse's Cornfield, written and illustrated by myself, Donna Becerra. I'm Maurice the Mouse, and I love to speak, even though most people think I just squeak. I happen to be a great storyteller, who is also considered a quite handsome feller. I know I'm a mouse and I am rather small, but the tales that I tell are taller than tall. When it comes to tall tales, I am the master. Now here's my tale of a cornfield disaster. My story begins in a large field of corn. As a matter of fact, that's where I was born. The cornfield, of course, is mouse territory. Now listen well to this mouse's story. This is a story about my own life. It affected myself, my kids, and my wife. Of course it affected our neighbors too. Nobody knew quite what to do. We were minding our business and taking it easy. It was quite peaceful, just a little bit breezy, when all of a sudden we heard a loud rumbling and a weird group of voices that seemed to be mumbling. We jumped when we saw the terrible sight. When we landed, we stood there just frozen in fright. Our field was being trampled by monstrous creatures. They had lanky limbs and the strangest of features. It was the scariest thing we'd ever seen, even more frightening than Halloween. They terrified our little tykes. They ran to their mamas screaming, "Yikes!" The mamas kept the babies out of sight. They picked them up and held on tight. The rest of us mice finally unfroze, but we were still shaking from our heads to our toes. The next thing we knew, our small feet were flying. We weren't fast enough, but we were sure trying. One of the giants almost stepped on my head. His gigantic foot crushed my tail instead. It scared me so badly I let out a yelp. A friend of mine ran over to help. Lucky for me, that giant stepped away. I was just thankful my tail was okay. The giants finally left, to our great relief. We all got control of our chattering teeth. A friend of mine asked, what was that all about? My buddies and I couldn't figure it out. One of them said, there must be a reason. An old-timer explained, it's detasseling season. The creatures are human. They're not here to hurt mice. As a matter of fact, some of them are quite nice. The humans come this time every year. To detassel the corn, there's nothing to fear. They remove the tassels to help the corn grow. It increases production, that I do know. I'm sure that tomorrow they'll be back again. When I heard him say that, it made my head spin. In fact, they'll be coming back every day. All we have to do is stay out of their way. Then the humans will leave and be gone for a year. Things will be back to normal for all of us here. The next day we found out the old-timer was right. The detasselers returned at the break of daylight. They kept coming back 3 weeks in a row. Then they all left, but where did they go? Little did I know that I'd soon find out. Then I would know what the fuss was about. Things were normal for all of us mice. We went on with our lives, and it was quite nice. But then I got restless and decided to roam. I wandered away from my cornfield home. I stumbled upon a human house that turned out to be unsafe for a mouse. I sneaked in through a crack in the wall. The humans didn't notice me at all. I looked up and saw, to my surprise, some humans eating corn right before my eyes. I grabbed a kernel from under the table. I would have gotten more if I'd been able. All at once a shadow blocked out the light. I was just stuck there frozen in fright. Two huge golden eyes were staring me down. I couldn't tell if the face had a smile or a frown. He was licking his lips with one eyebrow raised. His evil expression was totally crazed. My body went cold. I was paralyzed. In fact, I felt I'd been hypnotized. I thought of my family and broke myself free. Then I turned around and started to flee. The animal chased me all through the house. I'm telling you, I was one scared little mouse. I was quite speedy, but so was he. In fact, that creature was right behind me. Out the front door I proceeded to skitter, but I just couldn't shake that horrible critter. The animal cornered me out by the gate. I was so frightened I couldn't think straight. The creature arched his back and suddenly pounced. I gathered all my strength. I scurried and bounced. Then a small human who was really quite pretty came running out yelling. The animal turned and ran to the child. He was acting so tame and shockingly mild. The human didn't even look suspicious. She didn't have a clue the creature was vicious. Why, he just pretended to be a tame pet. I've never seen anything quite like it yet. I was thankful for the human for saving my life. I was able to make it back home to my wife. Back to my family I happily scurried. My wife said, "Maurice, I was getting worried." I told her about what happened that day. She said that I should never have gone away. I had to admit what she said was true. It wasn't the safest thing to do. But it's really not easy being a mouse, especially when you've got 9 kids and a spouse. Anyway, folks, that's the end of this story. I'm just thankful it didn't get gory. If I can invent a story, I'm sure you can too. It was fun for me, it'll be fun for you. So go right ahead, try out your skill. You'll make a great story. I know that you will. Here are some talented young authors who have done just that.
I wrote this book. It's called Captain Zoom, and I dedicated it to my dad and my grandpa for Happy Father's Day. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Hello, folks. My name is Captain Zoom, and my name is Captain Zoom because I run really fast, and when I run, I make a zoom sound. but now I am being held captured by a bunch of girly girls. But before I tell you what the present is like, you need to know the past. So sit down, chew on some popcorn, and listen how I got into this mess. Zoom, boom. Oh no, my Corvette is blown to pieces. My tires are in Asia, my window went next to the Titanic, and the rest stayed. But now I wonder who would do such a thing. And the only people I know that would do such a thing is the three Dixie Chicks. They always get away because of their sparkling, hypnotizing eyes and the thick, beautiful hair. But it doesn't work on me because I just don't look at them. And that way I'm safer from their hypnotizing. Zoom, boom, zoom, boom, boom. Oh no, a tire almost fell on me, but I zoomed away. And the Dixie Chicks yelled, I...
Locks of brown hair.
And this is Rhea.
Annabeth Lavone biked down the beach listening to her iPod. She came all the way from England to California to visit her Aunt Layla for a whole month. Annabeth was 11 years old. Aunt Layla's daughter, Kat, was 13. She was an excellent ballet dancer and studied at a boarding school for performing arts, but the school was only a mile away from Aunt Layla's house. Annabeth's phone rang. She pushed the brakes, pulled her headphones away from her ear, pulled her phone out of her pocket, and flipped it open. Hi, it's me, Kat, said Kat. Listen, Annabeth, you know how you always solve mysteries? Yes, said Annabeth. It was true. She could solve mysteries as fast as Nancy Drew and Sherlock Holmes. My friend Jenna's in trouble. You've got to come, now, exclaimed Kat. All right, said Annabeth. She pulled her detective kit out of the bag, attached to the handlebars of her bike. Then she called Aunt Layla. Hello, she asked. No one picked up, so she sent a text. New mystery, got to go to Kat's school. I'll be back tonight. Then Annabeth biked over to Kat's school. 3 girls stood at the school door, Kat and 2 other girls. Kat and Annabeth both looked alike.
Hold on, would you say that one more time?
My book is Dog Baths. One day a dog named Buster was going to have to take a bath, and he doesn't like to take baths. A boy was going to give him a bath. His owner was talking to the little boy about giving him a bath. Buster tried to dig a hole, but there was a fence. He tried jumping the fence, but it was too high. Everything he tried, it didn't work. The next day, he slept in. He didn't like baths because his first bath was not good. He almost drowned. But then Buster noticed a table, so he jumped onto the table and jumped over the fence. He ran over and under bridges, and he was scared too. That night he slept in a box on the road. He was scared because he had never slept outside before. He was scared because he saw big shadows. Then it started to rain, so it made him scared. Then it started to thunder, and there was lightning, and it struck the box Buster was in. Buster tried to run, but he also got struck. He was hungry.
My book is called The
Jay. Maya and Ryan were building a snowman in Maya's backyard. It had a popsicle nose since Maya had ran out of carrots yesterday. Anyways, Maya was just about to place an old hat on the snowman's snowy head when Ryan said, "Hey Maya, freeze! Look where you were about to step." "Oh my gosh, a blue jay," she cried. "Poor thing, it must be frozen to its bones. We must take it inside immediately." "Yeah," said Ryan, "plus we have to call Lindsay and Robert and ask them why they didn't get here half an hour ago." "Okay," said Maya as they proceeded inside carrying the shivering blue jay. Robert was running and running. Also, he was jealous that Lindsay lived right next door to Maya, while he lived 2 blocks away. When he finally got to Maya's house, Maya, Lindsay, and Ryan were giving him evil looks. When Maya and Lindsay got the boys into Maya's unicorn-filled room, the conference began. The bluebirds sat in Maya's lap, wrapped up in a blanket. Maya took over. "Lindsay, hand over the sunflower seeds."
Mimicry, and it's got 2 stories in it. This is the first one. Beep, 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 slam. John Wizard was woken for school even though it was 3 weeks into the summer. John had been trying to stay inside as much as possible to avoid the other children who teased him not only because of his unusual name, but because he didn't like rugby, but he knew everything about the ancient cultures. They hated school, but John skipped middle school and went straight to high school. You could easily identify him by his golden hair and deep violet eyes. John got up out of bed and looked around at his attic room. His bed next to the window, bookshelves filled with mythology and science books, the door to his lab, his waistband filled with messed up ideas, and his small TV. John got up and went into his lab. He had an experiment going that had something to do with fish and weeds. He picked up a small vial containing a blue liquid, and crash! One of the fish, a large one, had jumped and landed on a rack of vials. John ran and he started to clean up the chemicals, and he noticed that one of his chemicals was the blue one that was in his hand. However, but he was called downstairs. "You should spend more time inside." My book's called The Weird Thing, written by Ashton. The Weird Thing. I dedicate this book to my dad for Father's Day, and my old teacher, Ms. Peterson, for getting me into writing. And this book is based on some of my friends. So, Chapter 1. My Nana rocked in the rocking chair in the living room. She said to my cousins and I, "Why don't you guys go play in the dock area?" None of us dared argue with my grandma. Me and my cousins went up to my Nana's house for summer break. Sam, who was 13, sort of acted like a leader for us. Mario, who was 8, had big round cheeks and curly hair. If you called him anything but Mario, he would pimp slap you. Xavier was 11 and had fluffy brown hair, and was tall and skinny. Donna, who was 9, had big brown eyes and flouncy black curls. She wore a robotic necklace since her mom was good at tech. "Come on, Kelsey," Sam said from the doorway as everyone piled outside. I bolted past Sam and all of us walked down the street, made a left, and followed the street to the riverside and onto the dock. "I'm going to check out the patch of bushes over there," Mario said. He dived into the water,
as all of us tried to stop him. It was no use. He hit the water with a splash. A couple seconds later, he came up and said to us,
This book is dedicated to my sister, Skylar. Not really. I love you, Sky. Lola is moving, Chapter 1. Lola was very sad to hear that she had to move again. All her life she has pretty much had to move because of her dad and his job. She lives in Arkansas, and her parents told Lola that we are moving to California. Lola visits California, but she wasn't wanting to live there. Lola starts packing all of her stuff from her room, and she found a picture of her and her best friend Sarah sitting outside under their favorite apple tree. Sarah and Lola did everything with each other, but the one thing they both loved to do was swim. Sarah and Lola would go to the pool and swim for hours. They would have races against each other and see who was the fastest swimmer. They would also see who could hold their breath under the water the longest. Sarah would win most of the time. They were always doing something with each other. They would even go on vacations with each other. They were never planning on Lola moving until now. Lola tells Sarah, Chapter 2. "But Lola, why do you have to move to California?" Lola said, "I'm sorry, Sarah. It's not my fault. Please don't be mad. I wish I could find..."
We had to get up at 3 o'clock, pretty much, and it was a long airplane ride. After the plane ride, we finally ate breakfast. Then we looked for the next ride. Then we had to find the restrooms. Then we got out of the restrooms. Then we got out of the restrooms. The plane ride that we had to go on, and we almost missed it. We had to go on plane rides. It was fun, and it wasn't. Wasn't fun, but wasn't fun because we got to go swimming. When we got to our hotel room, we just sat there and
Arlen, you ready? Ready? And Alexis? Congratulations, you guys. You did a really great job in your book. I'm really proud of all of you. Class. Okay? You want to call your name, come right up. Okay, first we have Rhea. We have Gabe. Brianna. Ashley. Prachi. Jose. Gonzalez with the certificate for Jump Right In.
Hello kids, my name is Andy Hemminghouse and I am a regional manager for Team Corn and Soil. We're based out of Princeton, Illinois. My job description, I oversee approximately 5 to 10 crews, and a crew is usually has a crew leader, a bus driver, and approximately, the season starts with maybe like 50 kids, but by the end of the season it's maybe down to 25 or 30 kids. This year our season only lasted 6 to 8 days, so it was pretty short. It got so hot here this summer that the corn grew so fast that they just needed us to get in and get done, and so we did it. This is a tassel of the corn that comes out, and this is kind of what we call isolation corn. It kind of protects the field in here from getting tassels from other field. The reason why we detassel is there's male corn and female corn, and what their idea is to plant a male row and 4 female rows in between another male row, and we detassel the female rows. We pull the tassel off pretty much just like this and throw it on the ground. But we take the tassels out of the female plants so they don't pollinate themselves. They want the male plants that are on the outside to pollinate them. So a usual day for us starts, you go to your bus stop, which is usually between 5 and 6 in the morning, and you ride the bus out to the field, and we get going probably 6:15, 6:30 in the morning. We take a break after a couple hours. We take a lunch after 4 or 5 hours, and if we're not done by then we take another break or something like that. But our day usually ends at about 1, 2, 3 o'clock, and you're home by 4 o'clock. So you can make anywhere from, our max pay is $10 an hour, so you can make some decent money if you're a 14-year-old. And we hire 12-year-olds if you live in Illinois, but you have to work in Illinois in order to do that. So I hope this was helpful. Enjoy the book.
Thank you. Roll call.
Trey. CJ. Logan.
Damien.
Andy.
Talon.
Darius.
They call me Maestro.
Kendra.
Andrew.
All right. So was it a good detasseling season for you guys?
It was great.
Great.
Yeah, kinda
Good.
short.
Kind of short. It was pretty hot, huh?
Yeah.
Every day.
A couple days.
Not today.
It was 102 degrees the other day.
So you guys gonna do it again next year?
Yeah.
Maybe.
How many years have you guys mostly been doing this?
5.
Like 5?
2.
2? All right, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I heard you guys are the super squad. Is that right?
That's right.
What's the best of the best?
The best of the best. That's fantastic. So one more thing. Is this food good?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any last words?